Hey guys, welcome to the Money Zone. I'm your host, Falashade, the accountability accountant. Guys, look, and it's Tuesday, tax season. Life is lifing. Everything is going on. And guess what, guys? It is Women's History Month. I'm like, as a woman, I'm sorry, men, y'all don't have like a men's month, do y'all? I'm not sure. But, as a woman, I think Women's History Month is an amazing time for us women to really highlight the challenges that we face, the um, goals we were able to achieve, the obstacles we were able to jump over and conquer. And so, what better way to close out? Because this will be my last, I think, interview before March is over in Women's History Month, than to have Djuan Short coming on into the Money Zone. So, guys, if you are a woman in leadership, or you know a woman in leadership, you want to tune in into tonight's show and also catch the replay on our YouTube channel after tonight's show. Okay, on tonight's show, we're going to talk about how you are handling life challenges as a woman in business. Okay, and guys, as a mom, wife, Black woman, look, the challenges, you know, we face is a lot. It's massive. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, throughout my journey of entrepreneurship, look like I have like the bad wig mode going on. Look, I can't do that with Business Women's Day. This is crazy. But yes. Okay. So while building my business, being a mom, juggling life, doing everything, guys, throughout my journey, I have sought the help of therapists, counselors, prayer warriors. I have my own pastor that I speak with regularly to bring me clarity and to keep me focused, aligned, and being able to show up and show out, right? And so Djuan Short, guys, is a therapist. So okay, so but let me go ahead on and read her bio. Okay, it says Djuan Short is an accomplished mental health practitioner, speaker, and published author with over 11 years of experience. She holds degrees from the University of Maryland College Park and the University of Pennsylvania. She is the creator of the CEO Wellness Project brand, where she offers speaking and consulting services, and the founder of Dahlia Rose Wellness Center, a mental health and wellness private practice servicing Pennsylvania and New Jersey. Djuan is a clinical expert who merges her knowledge, faith, and training to guide individuals toward balanced and purposeful lives. She is passionate about empowering women to become leaders by redefining and reshaping their environments to be healing. With a holistic approach, integrating faith, education, and practice, Djuan inspires individuals to redefine their societal roles, align with their spiritual beliefs, and challenge societal norms. Drawing inspiration from the strength of resilient Black women, she instills confidence and encourages individuals to take charge of their lives. Prestigious outlets like Nike, Thrive Global, and Helpline, Djuan has been featured in. Guys, help me welcome Djuan Short to the Money Zone. Djuan, welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you for having me. I was laughing. I was like, for Day, like, oh my gosh, you cracked me up so much. Talk about the wig. I was like, what?
It looked like, you know how they've been saying on TikTok, and you get the rich white man when you got the bad stiff. That's what it looked like for them. And I never like really had that moment. But look, I'm gonna be honest, it looked real, had to like move it to the side a little bit. It looked a little bit better, man. It looked a little bit better.
You look fabulous. You look
Thank
fabulous.
you.
Don't she look fabulous, y'all? She looks fabulous.
Look,
We
look,
here for it.
look. Today is it's perfect. We switched the wig on Women's History Month. Okay, yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so Djuan,
Yes.
oh my gosh, I have so many questions to
Yes.
just jump right into. But what was so intriguing when I was reading your bio, I was scrolling on Instagram the other day, and I saw this white guy post saying that it's nothing better than a Black grandma because that Black grandma is the one that's going to motivate you, encourage you, and push you,
Mm-hmm.
and really believe in you. And your bio just made me feel like you that grandma that encourages your yes, like I felt so like, okay, I'm ready. Like, let's go. Like you were really motivating me in the process. It was so interesting. And it made me think about that Instagram post. And but it looked like, you help your women just stay afloat and really live the life that they live. And we're in this day and time, especially I'm a millennial. I think you're a millennial as well. You're GX. What are you? You're a millennial too? We're in that.
I don't know what I'm a 90s. I'm in
Okay.
the
Okay.
1990s, whatever.
So we're in that age range where we want to really live life on our terms, right? And
Correct.
make big bucks and be the leaders and have it all. And so that goes
Hmm.
right into one of my first questions, Djuan. In what ways does prioritizing well-being empower women leaders to make strategic decisions that positively impact their revenue and financial success?
Yeah, so I want to start off with saying I love the reference to being like it's feeling like a grandmom. I was with my grandmom this weekend, and that is exactly the energy that I get from her. So I'm glad that you picked that up because the goal in my work is always to make my clients not only feel but know that they have access to spaces within their life and that they can create spaces where they can feel comfortable, they can be nurtured, they can be cared for, and that they can thrive in those spaces without feeling like it's conditional. So, when we're talking about women leaders who are prioritizing their wellness and their mental health, and how it impacts their finances, right? Or their revenue in their company. What we're really thinking about is what happens when a woman is feeling like she has the world at her fingertips and she can go and she can create whatever it is that she wants to create. And then from there, how does she navigate the creation process? How does she work from, I have this idea, I'm bringing it to fruition, but staying motivated to see it all the way through. And sometimes when we're working through that process, we may be in it so much where our head is down. I say I'm always in my J. Cole moment where my head is down. I'm in there, I'm vibing. And sometimes when you're in that mode, you can be taking care of yourself, but not taking care of yourself all at the same time because you might be doing things that keep you kind of like sustained, right? Like we go work out, we go get our waxes, we get our hair done, all of those different things. But that's maintenance. That's almost like, it's what you need to stay afloat, but
Mhm.
it's not the thing that is helping you to see what comes next.
Oh,
So,
so
okay.
you trying to say our little self care stuff is just maintenance? It ain't
It's
on
a
the
maintenance.
spending
It's
tomorrow.
maintenance. It's maintenance, right? Like you getting your hair done, that's maintenance,
Yeah,
right? That's a part of your brand.
yeah.
You being able to, go get a massage. That is probably something that you do to help relax, right? I get massages monthly, but that is a part of my natural budget. If I don't have a massage happening, I'm not sure how I'm going to be able to sit in my seat the majority of the day because I do sedentary work.
Yeah.
And be able to serve my clients. So when we're talking about how do these things impact your finances, well, it impacts your finances from the standpoint of if you're just doing enough to maintain. At some point when your head is down and you're grinding and you're getting it and you're focused, you can't see what's coming. You can't see like that there's a vision that you're working towards. You know that these smaller pieces are adding to the vision, but you're not nurturing yourself
Mhm.
in the greater way that is to match the type of vision that you're creating, if that makes sense, right? So, for example, we're in the process of expanding my practice. So that expansion of practice means that I'm putting in more work, which means that the things that I'm doing to maintain actually needs to be amplified because where I'm moving to is bigger revenue. It's moving to higher income, which really means that I need to take care of myself on a greater level, right? So it's almost like allowing yourself to do the expansion in how you care for yourself before you get to that space where you're already expanded, and now you're trying to figure out, how do I take care of me as I'm expanding this company, or I'm working through the expansion. We want to be able to have the capacity to hold all of what is coming. So when you have an expansion in team, or you have an expansion in something that your company is offering, that's also an expansion in revenue coming back at you. But you need to be able to hold that with your personal capacity as the lead. So if you aren't saying, okay, well, what else is it that I need? Then you are doing yourself a disservice for how money can come to you.
Wow. Okay. That was a mouthful, but I get it, guys. Basically, she's saying that our little day-to-day little girl stuff, our nails, our
Correct.
little spa, that's really, it's not a luxury anymore. I know when I was building my business, like literally the one you would think while you're, knuckling and buckling, head down, focus, like you said in your J. Cole mode, that I can't afford it. Oh my gosh, this. But in the reality, we're abusing our bodies, and are we going to be able to serve and at full capacity?
Mhm. Mhm.
And it's interesting because I always, before I started getting my massages and things and doing like my self-care stuff regularly, I thought that stuff was a luxury. I thought
It's not. It's
self-care
how you maintain yourself. Think
was,
about this for a moment. You have LeBron James, who spends a good amount of money on just maintaining
yeah.
his body for optimal performance when he goes out on the basketball court. I was saying to someone a few weeks ago, I was like, when I look at my personal expenses,
Hmm.
the amount of money I spend to take care of myself, like massages, like acupuncture, all those things, that amount is inching up closer to my utilities bill, which I was like, I'm not worried about, because what that means to me is that my capacity to hold is getting bigger, which means that how I take care of myself has to expand.
And let me be honest, that's just like actually like your therapy services. Most women, bosses, women in leadership, their therapy is like their cup of coffee. It's a
Correct.
necessity. It's their way of life. Okay.
Correct.
OMG, guys. So we have to kind of, first of all, make sure we're able to have the space for and the time for our maintenance stuff, guys. But we need to be working hard enough, ladies, to be able to fit that in, because it's mandatory for us to be able to operate at full capacity and be
Mhm.
fully whole while we're trying to be leaders, women in business and leaders, and juggle it all. And so this goes right perfectly into my second question, Djuan. Like, what strategies can a woman leader employ to be able to set those boundaries, manage priorities, and create a safe space to be able to do their self-care, reflect, and still be able to handle all of their demanding responsibilities?
So the first strategy that I would say to employ is, depending on how you schedule out your week, make a day, whether it's like Saturday, Sunday, something before you go into like your official work week, or even at the beginning of the month. Think about what all things that you need first. So schedule you in
Yeah.
first, right? Work is always going to be there, but you, right? Like, we all have a limit on how long we are here on this earth. So if you don't take care of you, right, like, you're doing yourself a disservice for how long you can actually be here to activate in that work, anyways. So if you don't schedule you in first, then you're taking away from yourself. And then you're trying to figure out, well, how can I put me in after you've scheduled work, the kids, your partner, your girlfriends, or your guy friends, or whomever else it is that you tend to hang out with, or you're scheduling, public organization things that you're doing, all of those other stuff. If you don't schedule yourself in first, that becomes a way in which you are starting to put yourself lower on the list of to-dos, right? So first thing first, schedule yourself in. What I typically say about scheduling yourself in, it really means that you need to identify what is it that you actually want to do with your time. So for example, I say to my clients often, I'm like, well, how much time do you really think that you need? Some people are like, well, I think I need 2 hours. So if you only need 2 hours in the span of 24 hours to cater to yourself, that's not including sleep, that's not including eating, right? Or using the bathroom or showering, but you need 2 hours of dedicated time in your day specifically for you. Okay, like, let's try that. and then like let's come back and assess,
Mhm.
right? So you need to have clarity about how much time you actually need for yourself, and then think about how can you use that time to pour back in you. You want to also be thinking about, okay, when can I get that 2 hours? 9 times out of 10, I say let's try it in the morning because that sets your day, right? It's almost like setting an intention, doing a prayer, doing a meditation, all of those things. The other side of this is having time at night. For a lot of people, that is very hard to do. But again, if you start somewhere with figuring out where do you want to put you in your day,
Mhm.
and then so the second part would be create moments of reflection
Mm.
where it could be 5 minutes. Like if you have the notes section on your phone or you want to do a vlog, take some time and jot down, how are you feeling in this moment? How am I feeling about that interaction I just had with such and such? Because what that actually does is it brings you back into the present moment, and it reminds you that you are existing, right? Like you exist. So much of our lives is spent, focusing outward, but reflection time actually requires you to go inward. And if you are a true leader, you should always be in self-reflection, because most of the things that are happening comes from you being able to spend time with yourself. So you need more quiet time, especially as you are expanding. When you are trying to generate new ideas and creativity, you have to build in that time, and that quiet time is not always about just business. It's about you, and then how do you engage with all of the things that you are putting on your plate, because nobody's putting them there but you.
I'm trying, y'all. I'm trying. Look, I'm trying. No, we ain't doing a little production thing. I'm trying, but no, that look it. That was a
I
ball.
love it.
Drop.
I love it.
Okay, so guys, Djuan said quite a bit, and you guys can see the technicality. But you can tell she's a therapist, guys. Look how technical and she's well thought of. Like she's breaking it down from the core. And I'm gonna be honest with you, Djuan. While I was building my company, I think it was maybe like 8 months ago. I look back, I said, "Holy cow! How did I get here?" I
Mm-hmm.
was always reflecting, but sometimes you're so into it deep, especially when you're breaking trauma, you're healing from trauma, you having issues, and you come from poverty, so you never had anything. So I was like breaking traumas, trying to break curses, deal with family issues, all in one. But I was building this business, trying to take care of my family, and I don't think I ever really, I would have probably be much, much further in my career if I probably would have taken your advice if I had this 5 or 6 years ago,
Yeah.
to just have those still moments. Like I did
Mm-hmm.
the meditation and all this stuff, but I didn't do a reflective, like, okay, right, how did I feel in this moment? You know? And I have a journal prompts in my journal, and you probably have them in your journal as well. But do we do it?
Mm-hmm.
And if
Yep.
I probably would have done those things, I would probably be a lot further ahead in my career. Another thing, guys, she said, schedule yourself in.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you are not an organized person that lives by a schedule, this may be challenging for you. But coming from a woman in leadership, I live by a schedule.
Mm-hmm.
And like today, my meetings were running over. Luckily enough, everybody knows tax season, so they're a bit lenient with me. But I hated it. So that means by
Mm-hmm.
the time I got to midday, I'm scrambling. I'm like, oh my god! And then if I didn't have my calendar printed out and behind me, I would have been flustered. And so, guys, organization is key, so you can have the time to be able to schedule yourself in. If you're not living by a calendar or planner, and I think you have a journal, the one that they probably can use to be able to do those reflective moments, fit those in. If you feel as though you're overwhelmed, take a step back and reflect, guys. Face whatever trauma you're having, because coming from somebody that didn't, I guarantee if I did that, I will be
Mm-hmm.
a lot further. And I think that's when I became the accountability accountant. It was like God told my brand manager to coin me that, and I had to hold myself accountable. That's when I
Mm-hmm.
really started to reflect. That's when I really started to do this
Mm-hmm.
work that you're telling us that we definitely need to do. So Lady Ball says, come on now. We got to
Listen.
we have everything else scheduled. We have to have our reflective moments scheduled as well. So let me ask
Mhm.
you, um one question: how do you assist women in leadership to be able to um achieve the leadership and the lifestyle that they want?
Oh, by a ton of different ways, but the ones that are coming up, right? Because everybody is different.
Yeah.
But what I know to be true, what I, in my heart of hearts, know to be true is that all of the women leaders that I work with, all of them want to be able to have the accolades and accomplishments that they have worked hard for in their careers to also be the thing that helps set them apart from what happens in the home setting, right?
Yes.
And so it's almost like, can we take those same levels of ambition and study and leadership that shows up in the workplace and transition them to how you deal with the home and how you deal with them in your own personal life. And so when I say like they want those things to be separated, it's like, well, if I'm so accomplished, then I should be able to deal with these other issues when it comes to like how I take care of myself, issues with family, trauma, all of those things. And it's not 100% transferable initially. And
Mm,
so when I'm working with clients, one of the things that I always want them to be very clear about, what do you want and what do you need?
mm,
Those two questions have been the guiding questions in my work for over 11 years because most people are not clear about what they want and why and what it is that they need. And then before we get into the why, like you even having the knowledge that these are things that is important to you, that's where we start working. Because if you said to me, oh, Djuan, I really would like to be in a position where I can work from home or I can work from anywhere, but I'm not in that space right now. Okay, so then we need to talk about how do we get there? What is currently in the way? And then we create the roadmap to get you from point A to point B. But while we're doing that, we're also setting up space and time for self reflection. We're
mhm,
setting up space and time for you to actually create opportunities where you're getting out of your home, where you are living in an Airbnb for a month, where you are doing some travel, solo travel if you've never done that. Because again, it's all about us as being women leaders. How do we take care of ourselves? How do we position other people in our companies or other people that we're employing, other people we're paying to take care of us? To support us in our journey. And for a lot of my clients, because they are actually the rock, they're the strong friend, they're the one that always has it together, they got all the answers. They've had to be the person to figure it out, or they had to be the one to kind of, try it, create the blueprint. So they're trying and failing all at the same time. It's hard for them in a lot of ways too to ask for this level of support because in their mind nobody really can provide it because they've had to do it all for themselves.
mm.
So even in that, we're doing a lot of work with them, not only trusting in this process with me and that relationship, but them trusting themselves to take care of them. Because a lot of times when you are a woman leader, you tend to leave you off to the side to take care of everything else. And then the part of you that's wanting certain things that you're so, focused on getting, that part doesn't actually trust you enough to actually go and keep that commitment. So now we're doing the rework to say, hey, self, you can trust us because now we know we're going to do better. What they say, when you know better, you do better.
Mhm.
Essentially, the goal is to help people trust themselves and then to activate on that trust because now we're clear about what we need and what we want.
Let me ask you a question. I was thinking about this while you were saying that. So, do you believe that doing vision boards can assist in really helping us with that vision and getting that clarity that you, as their therapist or their, mentor, coach, would need to be able to guide them um, to the levels of success or the mental framework clarity that they need?
Yeah, I would say vision boards can do a few different things, right? I think vision boards give you the visual of what you are trying to accomplish. But if your vision board is not clear, right? Like some people will put, oh, Dubai, or like, I want a house, right? But you're not clear about when, right? That's when SMART goals comes in. So you really want to make your vision board an action board. And if you are going to utilize a vision board, put it in multiple places. Put it on your cell phone, put it on the backdrop of your laptop when log in. Make it so visual in your all the things that you got going on in your day-to-day life that it's not mistaken as to what direction you're going in. But I would definitely say you want to be adding in what is the time frame that you're trying to get to something. And you actually want to sit with, well, what would it feel like if you were a multimillionaire? What
Mm.
would what would you do if you were a self-made millionaire? Who would you hang out with if you ran a multi-million dollar company? Who would you talk to, for counsel and seek wisdom? When you start asking yourself those questions about being at that next level, you can't unsee how you would like to create that life for yourself. So I think that the vision boards can be helpful, but there's other steps that you have to activate with the vision board, right? Like there's a book that I love called it's called The Magic of Thinking Big by Mike. I want to say it's Michael Schwartz. I could be wrong about the last name, but The Magic of Thinking Big. I like that book, right? And the reason why I like that book is because it makes you say, well, oh, I wanna own a company. Okay, make it clear, right? I want to be a millionaire. Okay, by when? Right? Like make your dream bigger. If you have a dream, big it, right? Like 10x it, make it bigger, and then identify like how can this vision that I'm creating, what would it feel like for me to be there? And I do a feeling exercise with a lot of my clients where we are actually sitting in our senses, right?
Mhm.
So what would it smell like if you were a multi-million dollar,
Mm.
business owner? Like, do you got a certain scent that you would want to have in your office, or if you work from home in your office, but you're making millions, right? Like, what does it taste like to be a multi-million dollar own, businesswoman, or be a leader, right? Like, what are you eating? What are you putting in your mouth, right? Like in terms of food and drinks, like what are you consuming? What are you watching? Like, what do you see? Oh, I see beaches, right? Like I always want to see beaches and like water, right? Like if I'm in that space, you want to embed it into your psyche by
Mhm.
allowing it to show up in your senses. We have five senses, so you want to be like hearing, touch, taste, smell,
Thank you. Because some
and
people
see.
forgot.
Yeah,
Man, forgot.
right. So you want to be like, if I could see it, what would it be like? If I could taste it, if I could touch it, if I could hear it, and if I can then what did I miss? See, touch, taste, oh, smell, right? Like, listen, I'm always doing that. I'm like, which one did I say? Okay, but it helps you solidify it. How big is it? What color is it?
Yeah.
Is it warm, right? And when you can start doing that, it makes it so much more real.
Yeah.
And that's actually helpful for a lot of people who have difficulty with their imagination, because
Yeah.
a lot of what we experience in the world is based on what are we imagining? How are we speaking to ourselves? And what do we allow ourselves to see that's possible? So,
Oh
all of that.
my God. Okay, no, it's so interesting. I'm so glad that you said everything that you just said, simply because while we are building these companies, you said a lot. We forget about
Mhm,
ourselves, and we need to have our reflective moments. The vision board is just one layer of it. We need to take it
mhm,
further. So you guys are just putting up the vision boards. That's one step of it, but that doesn't give
mhm,
the clarity. And then, so basically, you're saying that if we go and touch the Bentley and sit in it, if we drive past the house, all of those gestures,
mhm,
those things kind of can trigger and really trigger our senses to really will kind of allow God in the universe, well, God, the universe, to really bring what we're dreaming of and aspiring to and further and closer to into our lives. So going
mhm,
to the house, guys, if during the open house, if they allow you, go see it. Going to the Bentley store, they may not let you touch nothing if you can't afford it, but at least going in the drive, in the parking lot, looking inside, that allow things to be tangible is basically what you
mhm,
say. Touch what you're dreaming of. If you want always wanted to be rich and do first class or private jets, go and try to do first class, because that's the first layer of it. And then you're like, okay, yeah, I don't want to do economy anymore. Let me work harder. Okay, this is great, guys. Do me one favor for 1 minute, guys. If you're not following Djuan, and many of you probably just going to see her for the first time today, head over to her Instagram and follow her there, Djuan Short on Instagram, guys. Okay, and then her firm is Dahlia Rose Wellness. Head over to her practice Instagram as well and follow her. She
Yes.
puts out amazing content. She give you guys some behind the scenes of some of the things that she does to bring clarity. I think the last time I called her, she was at a spa or at a cafe writing. And to be honest with you, ladies, look, we're supposed to be doing that too, going there and just, decompressing and everything. And so it's really interesting to conclude that what we thought was luxury is really part of maintaining our bodies while we're putting the pedal to the metal in the most layman's terms ever. Like, we need our self-care, we need journaling, we need to be organized. Like, but one thing you really didn't say, and I thought that this was important for me, and this goes right into one of my next questions, was like the role of mentorship. So what role
Mhm.
mentorship, coaching, peer support networks play in providing women leaders with the guidance, accountability, encouragement needed to prioritize their well-being and achieve their financial goals?
Yeah. So definitely, I'd say so what I call them is your teams, right? For me, I have my healing team, I have a money team, I have a wisdom team, right? And these are like I want to say maybe a few months ago, one of the business like programs that I was in, one of the guys was like, every business needs to have almost like a board, right?
Mhm.
And these are people who are helping you to figure out what is the best way to tackle the goals that you are trying to achieve in your business while also maintaining who you are as a person and not losing yourself in the process,
Mhm.
right? So, all that to be said, I believe that every leader needs a healing team, and that can be your therapist, that can be your pastor, that can be, a praying grandmom, whoever you want on that healing team. For me, it's the acupuncturist, the herbalist, all the people. And then you got your money team.
Mhm.
When you are dealing with like your money team, right? Like I have a great accountant, right? Like I have a financial advisor, and that is also growing, right? I have like Ron sisters who are accountants and CPAs. So I'm around a lot of people who are talking about money. And
Mhm.
I want to be in those conversations too, because those conversations change depending on your level. And it also depends on what are you allowing yourself to have access to. So there are people that I read their books. They're not my direct mentor, but I will read their book nonstop. I've read plenty of Robert Kawasaki books, right? Like some people might not agree with everything that gets said, but there are different nuggets that you can pull at different points in time. So there are people that can be mentors to you in a variety of different ways. And then there's people that are directly on your team and they're always steering you in the right direction. So one of the things that I always think about when it comes to mentorship is, does this person see my vision? And if they
Mhm.
don't see my vision, I have to ask myself, did I adequately share what my vision was? Or am I operating out of fear and not sharing all of my vision because I believe that they're going to judge me? And there could be some of that. I mean, some of us are rolling around in traumas from things that we heard about money, right? We might not trust the accountant. We might not trust the financial advisor. We might not trust the therapist, right? So we want to be mindful about what are we coming into the room with and how honest are we being? Because the more honest you are, the more that the people who are around you can actually support you and they can help you get to your goal. And then for when you're missing, so to speak, someone from those teams, be mindful and just ask, right? Like the teacher will appear when the student is ready. I'm a firm believer of that. And there will be people who will teach you and who will guide you that you didn't even know had a lesson for you. And here's the other thing, everybody you meet has something that you can learn from if you decide that that person is someone that you're willing to learn something from. What can you glean from them? And
Mm,
then what can you give back? You know what I'm saying? So that mentorship piece, I think it goes both ways. And what I've found is people that I'm in relationship with that help to support me, I support them right back. And that is the beauty of relationship. That is the beauty of women in leadership. All of what we do is relationship oriented, and people want to work with people that they like, know, and trust.
You said something I really like. In layman's terms, for me, you said there's lessons in everything and everybody. Like every person you deal with, they have something to teach. You have something to gain
Correct.
from that, and we just have to be willing to be that student of life. And it's interesting because that goes back to you saying us having those reflective moments. And when you're being
Mhm,
reflective, you're being a student of your life. You're studying
mhm,
your life, and by you studying your life, you're now able to now have the clarity with the vision. See, a lot of you have not studied your life. You really haven't sat down and said, I really don't like that. But you keep
mhm,
doing the same thing over because you've never reflected and said, I don't like that. Okay. And you're willing
mhm,
to stand firm in saying, I don't like that. And by, having those moments, being studious of your own self and just being an avid learner, I think, and then having your team. I love how you said you have your money team, you have your holistic team, you have all of this. And guys, that's the game changer to it. I have like all of my little teams as well, but I don't think I like lump them into like categories. Now I gotta go back and be like, okay, put my little stuff in categories and stuff. But I probably wouldn't be able to be as hyper productive. And like now you're
mhm.
something else, it's just as quiet as it, you don't hear anything. I probably would not have that if it wasn't for my teams. Oh
Mhm.
gosh. Okay, guys. Look, look, let me just throw this right up in there. If you guys need any one-on-one therapy sessions, okay? She's licensed in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. And if you are in that area, she will be
Yes.
gladly to serve you, especially if you are a woman in leadership. We deal with a lot, guys. And if it wasn't for my team, my um therapist and my pastor and my team, I wouldn't be as sane and happy and be where I am right now in this position. So if you're feeling like stuck, if you're feeling like you need someone to talk to, this journey of entrepreneurship is challenging, then I would advise you to DM Djuan. I just told you guys go follow her. DM
Yeah.
Djuan and say, hey, I need a session, girl. What could I do? And guys, just throw a little plug in. She's a Delta too, y'all. So if
Yes.
you are a Delta, if you know of a Delta, if you love Deltas, she's one of them. So she would love to service you because she's so I can just hear it in the way that you explain just something. You're just so passionate about it. And look, girls, when you're having fun, you don't even look at the time. Time is flying. So look, let me go into my little next question a while. But I'm so pumped up because if I'm going to really be honest, most people don't achieve their goals because their vision isn't clear. They only do the vision board and have no one else to hold them accountable. And as the accountability accountant, guys, that's really the only way to achieve your goals. You can't just put it down on paper. You can't just have it on a vision board, and you cannot keep it stuck in your brain. There has to be a level of execution that has to be done. And especially if you reach that six-figure mark and you want to get to multiple six figures, or reach your first five-figure goal in your company and you want to get the six figures, it's going to take extra, but it may not be just work. It may be the team, it may be the journaling, it may be the prayer, it may be I think you are, don't you said, I thought I saw on your company's website you guys offer yoga services. It may be you doing your weekly yoga sessions to bring you that clarity. Okay. So Oh, okay. Okay. Yes. So guys, so if you are interested at all, then please head over to Djuan Short's Instagram page, guys, and follow her. We have to cut this interview just a little bit short. But if you guys have any questions at all, just post them, send them to me, and I'll direct you guys to Djuan. Guys, it was a pleasure to have Djuan on the Money Zone.
Mhm,
Djuan,
mhm.
I look forward to possibly having you again.
Yes.
Okay. Have an amazing night, girl.
Thank you. Bye.
Hey guys, so if you're just catching the live stream, I had an amazing therapist. Well, she called herself mental health practitioner. Djuan Short came on, and she was just talking to us women on really kind of having it all. Okay, and so if you enjoyed tonight's show, definitely go back and watch the replay because there were quite a bit of actionable steps that you guys can definitely take so you can get that clarity and get structured. But one thing I want to leave you guys before we go is do not forget about yourself. While I was building my company throughout these years, I literally forgot about myself. Like before I did a deep dive into business building, I always dressed nice, did everything, took good care of myself. And if you guys go back and watch any of my content throughout the years, you can kind of tell the years and months that I was in the trenches because the wig, baby girl, was not hitting. Okay. I even looked stressed in the face, like none of this. Okay. So definitely, guys, one thing I want you guys to do is not burn out like I did. So if you are an individual that, because as being in the Black and brown community, we feel like, I don't need a therapist. I don't need nobody to talk to. If it wasn't for my people that I talk to, I wouldn't be who I am today. So I challenge us to put aside the superstition or the ridicule that we face in the Black community about therapy. We don't need this. We don't do that. And really consider maybe reaching out to Djuan or a therapist in your state to help get that foundation of womanhood or whatever lifestyle or your future, your goals. Give you that foundation so you can go tackle the world and be everything that you guys want to be. Okay. So guys, I enjoyed tonight's show. I would maybe do some hot topics, but I want this video to be independent on its own. So when my team break this out, it will be, I may go on Instagram again because I'm having some issues over there. I don't know what's going on. So guys, I'm about to head out. You guys have a good night. Bye.